It is my honor and pleasure to have you all here this evening for our Macon County Candidate Forum. I am Elise Tolbert. I am the founder and co-founder of the Macon County Youth Council, one of the organizing partners here today, and I'm elated to organize this opportunity for the community to interact with candidates vying to represent our interests. This forum is co-organized by the Macon County Youth Council, the Tuskegee branch of the NAACP, the Macon County chapter of Alabama New South, the Department of History and Political Science for Tuskegee University, and Pi Alpha Sigma Political Science Organization. This is a nonpartisan, non-political forum organized for the purposes of educating our citizens in Macon County on the candidate stands on a number of issues that really matter to us in Macon County. It's also an opportunity for citizens in Macon County to engage with and ask questions of those who are running for office. Again, this is a forum and not a debate, so we will not allow for cross-questioning of the candidates on stage, but will be an opportunity for us to ask questions and for the candidates to also provide an introduction. Each candidate will have 3 minutes to provide an introduction where they can talk about themselves and their platform, why they want to run for office, and then each candidate will be asked 3 questions and have approximately 2.5 minutes to answer each question. When you get to the point of 30 seconds, our timekeeper, raise your hand, timekeeper will be standing in the middle and will alert you that your time is up. Each candidate will be asked have the opportunity to answer the same question, and so out of fairness, you will be asked the same question. This is also, as I said, an opportunity for the audience to engage. So audience, as you came in, you might have received an index card. Did everyone get an index card or suite of index cards? Yes, some people did, okay. If you need more index cards, we have people here passing out index cards. That is for you to write your questions on. So if you have a question, you can write your question, your name, and our moderator will answer your question, ask your question to be answered during the forum. Again, this is an educational forum. We are glad to have you all out tonight and to have our partners involved. I want to pass it to the provost of Tuskegee University to bring a brief greetings, and then we'll also have a brief greeting from the mayor of Tuskegee.
Greetings and good evening. On behalf of President Morris, other university officials that are here, faculty, staff, and of course our outstanding students, I bring you greetings. To the current elected officials, the mayor and other individuals, I also bring you greetings to the campus of Tuskegee University. You know, the motto of Tuskegee University is knowledge, leadership, and service. I think that's also reflected in the community in which we live in Macon County, but certainly in Tuskegee. Today we have an opportunity to listen to individuals who will help propel those 3 concepts by possibly being elected individuals. Knowledge with regard to what's happening and what are the needs of the community, being a leader to show vision and what could happen in this county and in this city, and of course to serve others, which is really what being an elected official is all about. We call upon you as elected officials to expand, to imagine the potential of not only this city, but this county. And today, I would say to you, probably more than any other time under the leadership of Dr. Morris, that the opportunity of town and gown is more of a possibility than ever. We look forward to working with all individuals, elected and otherwise, to really make the most of the opportunities with regard to the quality of life in the area that we live. So again, on behalf of the Tuskegee University community, thank you for being here, and we look forward to a very engaging evening. Thank you so much.
Good evening. First of all, I want to welcome you to Tuskegee, Alabama. For those who are not from Tuskegee and those in the county, we welcome you into the county seat of Tuskegee, Alabama. It's great to see so many people out this evening. I want to thank Tuskegee University for hosting this event. Again, as the provost said, it's a connection of town and gown. We're seeing it greater than ever. I ask you to pardon our progress. As you see on Fonville Street, we're getting ready for homecoming. We had the street torn it up, but they finished putting in the pipes. They should be finished tomorrow. But progress is happening. It's exciting. It's exciting because we're working together greater than ever in this community. The sheriff I called the other day, he's putting teams together, get ready for homecoming. We're altering the route of the parade slightly, but it's showing progress. I simply say that because as you look toward candidates, look at what they've done. The best indicator of what somebody is going to do is what they've done. Not what they say, what they've done and where they've been. And we want the best out there. We're looking for the best. You want to look at candidates in terms of integrity and quality. Integrity and what will they do? What can you depend on them for? And concern. Final thing I want to say is we're at a point in this country where it's critically important that we strengthen our democracy. That's why this is so important today. That's why it's so important for each one of you to be here. Because you need to know and hear for yourself. You hear all kinds of things from different people from different places. It's important to do your research and understand actually what's going on. I go to Montgomery, Alabama. I go all over this state. As head of the League of Municipalities, I go to Washington, D.C., and I can tell you some things very real about what's happening in this country. So let's protect our democracy. Participation like today is a critical thing. The vote is the most important thing, and good people doing great things is what will get us there. Thank you, Tuskegee University. Thank you, all the partnering organizations, for what you're doing. Thank you, citizens, for being here, and thank you, students, most of all. You got a bright future because you started the right way. Thank you.
Thank you. And I have the pleasure of introducing our moderator for this evening. Our moderator is Dr. Chavers, who is a professor in the Department of History and Political Science at Tuskegee University, and also the advisor for Pi Alpha Sigma. Welcome, Dr. Chavers.
Greetings, everyone. Thank you all for your patience once again. It is a pleasure to be with you this evening. Our first candidate for this session are for U.S. Congress. On Tuesday, November 8th, Macon County residents will go to the polls and vote for individuals to represent them and their interests on the federal, state, and local level. Descriptions of each office were completed by Tuskegee University, political science faculty, and students. Candidates for the United States Senate and the U.S. House of Representatives in Alabama's District 3 are competing to represent Macon County in the federal government. The winner of the election for the United States Senate will be one of two senators to represent the entire state of Alabama. U.S. senators serve a term of 6 years. The average tenure of a U.S. senator is 11 years. However, many senators are elected and serve for much longer periods of time. For instance, Alabama Senator Richard Shelby was elected in 1986 and is retiring after serving 6 terms for a total of 36 years. Our newest senator will be known as the junior senator from Alabama and will compete to obtain desirable committee assignments that will serve the interests of Alabamians. The winner of the U.S. House seat for Alabama District 3 will represent East Central Alabama, which includes portions of the city of Montgomery, as well as Tuskegee, Phoenix City, Talladega, and Auburn. Elections for the House and the Senate are held in both presidential and non-presidential election years. These elections, which are held when the president is not on the ballot, is often referred to as midterms. Turnout is often lower in midterm election years, which means much fewer people decide who will represent the people in making decisions about important issues. Youth turnout was 10.5% lower in 2018 midterm elections than in the 2016 presidential election. The midterm elections will change the makeup of Congress and may significantly impact how President Biden will be able to govern in the second half of his term. Control of the House and the Senate is often decided by just a few seats. In 2022, the Senate is 50 Republicans, 48 Democrats, and 2 independents whose caucus with the Democrats, plus Vice President Kamala Harris and the deciding vote in case of ties. The House currently has 222 Democrats, 211 Republicans, and 2 vacancies. Nonetheless, we will begin with our United States Representative 3rd District candidates. Will you please join the stage?
Took the position at Jack State to be the department head for political science. So we like to say political science brought us here. I am passionate about all of the issues on the Democratic side. I'm a solid Democratic candidate. I feel I bring new energy and a willingness to listen to people. I think there's been a huge amount of question about how much our district has been fully served by the person who is sitting in that office. And I will promise you, I will work around the clock. I will listen to you. And it is time for a new day and a new way. And that comes from us, the people. We can do better in this democratic experiment that we have had ongoing in the United States. It is a crucial time, but I am ready to serve with passion everyone in District 3.
Thank you. Thank you for that response. Now for our question.
Good evening.
Good evening.
How can you help improve the lives of Macon County residents?
Well, I'm going to run as a Democrat, and I'm going to tell you Democrats care about how people live, and those issues are real. We know that inflation, price, our cost of living, wages, all of those issues that impact us are things that as a Democrat, I am going to be working to make your life better in every way that we can. There's not a magic wand to wave, but there is real work to do in the legislative process. And there are things that we can do. We have seen the Biden administration make some real strides, bringing improvements. Some of those we won't see right away, but I will work here for those in Macon County to lift up those concerns, particularly related to education. It's wonderful to be here in Tuskegee. This is a great district. We're up in Jacksonville State where I'm at. We've got Auburn, we've got Tuskegee, we have Talladega College, we have a host of community colleges. And one of the things I'm passionate about within the educational experience is supporting the work that has started with student loan debt relief. I think that is the Novocaine. There is more work to be done. And I am passionate as I lift that up. I come from an educated family. My dad was a school administrator. My mother was a teacher. My husband's a professor. I know the difference education makes. As a Presbyterian, we share that too. That's one of the things. We have the connection with Stillman College, and another historically black university and college here in our state. And that is how we make the difference. And I think that is something I can lift up, particularly here in Macon County, where we have such a rich history, a wonderful history. And I love that we talked about knowledge and community and service, because those are also the things that make us stronger as a democracy.
Thank you. Thank you for your response. Now we will have 2 questions from the audience for the candidate. First question, yes.
What are your views on the abortion rights for women without us having the right to do
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, great question. I didn't work in this piece. I have 1 stepdaughter and I have 5 children. So I have 4 adult daughters. I realize, let me tell you firsthand how complicated pregnancy is. I am very distraught to completely upset some days about what has happened. It seems surreal to me that this has happened. I am definitely an advocate for choice for women. I'm also an advocate to be as pro-life as we can be. I think bringing good schools, bringing quality child care, providing high-quality infant care, helping people in those times makes a difference. But that is something I am very passionate about.
Thank you. Another question from the audience for the candidate. I'm sorry, yes, you may stand.
working for you or anyone on the standard who
Campaign? Yes, yeah. We have been a very grassroots operation, and part of that was we started this without a whole lot of doing the prep that we get to do. We would love to talk to you afterwards. We'd love to have folks right now. We're at such a short time frame. It's really that get out the vote, energize the vote effort. We'll send you with some signs. You can find more information. I think I can be political enough to say Vote Lynn In has all of my campaign information, and it's just LIN, Vote Lynn In. We've got some signs around town. You notice my signs are purple because I want us to remember we are not a red state. We are not a blue state. We are a purple state. We have a real mix of voices and understanding here, but that would be great. And if I'm elected to Congress, you know what, I'm going to follow the great, wonderful representative we have, Terry Sewell, who has wonderful internship programs of bringing folks in, and I would love to have you with me in D.C.
Answer one more question. Do we have another question for the candidate from the audience? Okay, well, thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much.
Next, we will have candidates for State Representative, District Number 82. The state legislature primarily performs three functions: policymaking, representation, and oversight. As policymakers, members of the legislature enact laws and decide how to allocate state funds through the yearly budget. Members of the legislature represent their constituents and serve as an advocate or voice for the people within their district and oversee the performance of the state bureaucracy. Members of the legislature are also responsible for providing legislative assistance on behalf of their constituents who have a problem or grievance with the state agency. Legislators may base their policy decisions on their political ideology, personal beliefs, influence of interest groups, committee leaders, colleagues, the governor, and their constituents. The Citizens Council on State Legislature states that the ideal legislator is one that is functional, accountable, informed, independent, and representative. State House District 82 encompasses Macon County and a small portion of Lee County, which includes a portion of the city of Auburn. So first we will have the candidates introduce themselves, and you will receive 3 minutes each, and then we will move on to questions by Ms. Norma Jackson.
Good evening, everyone. I am Lenora Mutia-Perot. On the ballot, I am Lenora Tia-Perot. It is truly an honor to be here, but before I even start, I must make sure that as a resident and as an individual in the community, that I do a public apology to my Sheriff Andre Bronson, based on a post that I made on social media. It is very important that when you run in an office in a community, that you respect the people in your community and that you understand the whole process. That experience made me realize the importance of loyalty and the importance of building and growing in the community. This is the number one thing that I needed to state as I'm here tonight, because relationships are important, and it is something that has to be done when it comes to leadership is cultivating. And from that place, I must do that. Please accept my apologies, Sheriff Bronson, for the post. I truly honor you and thank you for all your service in my community. Thank you. That's the first thing. I am here. I am a mother of 9 children, 4 girls and 5 boys. I have been in Tuskegee since 2014. I came here with intention and passion for growth. In the time that I've been here, I've been PTA president at Tuskegee Public Middle School. Amazing principal. My children have been at every single school system in Macon County. I made a choice to make sure that they were in Macon County. I lived in Lee and Lochapoka when I first came to Tuskegee. And in the process, coming to Tuskegee, meeting the people, building with the people, it's given me a love for my community. And in that process, from PTA president, we have a drug prevention coalition. I am here, I live here, I work here, and I invest in here. And it is truly an honor to be here representing you as House Representative for District 82. We are in need of a change in our community. I am the forward change that we need.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Pebblin Warren. I currently serve as your state representative for District 82, and I'm asking for your vote and support on November the 8th. I've been working on a lot of things, and I'm just going to try to read it kind of fast and go through it with you. People don't understand what this job is all about. I was in the grocery store the other day, and the lady said, well, I can't vote for you. Our streets and our roads are not fixed, and da-da-da. For legislators, I can't fix anybody's road. That's for the county and the city. What I have to do is go to Montgomery and put the money and make the money available for the counties and the cities to get the resources that we're going to get. One of the things I did in this last session, we had a gas tax. There was only 6 Democrats. We only have 28 in the whole 105 bodies, but there were only 6 Democrats who voted for the gas tax. I was one of them. I was one of them because I knew the bad roads and the bridges that we have. I know that our people are going to have to buy gas, but the thing I really knew was the bulk of this money was going to come from the interstate. And if you can see and look around in the county now, it pays off. We are getting our county's roads fixed, and hopefully the city will be doing the same thing with their resources that they have. There are 3 areas that I really want to talk about. Education. Macon County is in a serious dilemma with education. My county in Lee County is doing great. Whether you know it or not, D.C. Wolf was the lowest scoring school in the state of Alabama on the assessment test this year. We got to do something about that. We got to get, not elected officials, we're going to have to get in there and work with our children and deal with what's going on. One of the things that I'm proposing is a competition between kindergarten kids, and it's going to be read with the rep. I'm going to give $200 to each kindergarten school in Macon County for the child who reads the most books and complete the test this year. So we're going to have that done and on the way. Also, if you know anything about my legislation stuff, I've been trying to do a kindergarten bill for the last, I think this is the 4th year. What happens is Alabama is really good in pre-K. We're doing a great job, but everybody can't go to pre-K. If you have a child who hadn't been to pre-K, who hadn't been to kindergarten, to get in the 1st grade and don't know an A or B, that's killing that student from the beginning. We should not wait until the kid gets to 3rd grade and tell them they have to repeat 3rd grade for not being competent at that point. So again, this year, I will be introducing my 1st grade readiness bill, which says that a student must have proven competencies of the kindergarten requirement before they can go to 1st grade. So it passes in the House every year, and as a matter of fact, the governor called me this morning, and I told her when I was talking to her, I said, look, thank you for calling me, but I need you to help me get my kindergarten bill through this year. And she said she'll call me back, and we will talk about that. Another thing is workforce and economic development. Macon County, when I started in 2005, I got a group together, and we were able to revitalize our Economic Development Authority. We're doing well. We're looking, people are looking at us now. If you hadn't looked at the website, look and see. But the thing of it is, we need resources to be able to provide. You know, people say, we want jobs, but guess what? You got to give something to get jobs. And what we're looking at now is trying to work on our infrastructure. Last week before last, we met in Montgomery with ADECA to see what type of resources we can get for sewage, water. Luckily,
Sorry, that's your time. Thank you. So our first
Good evening, everybody. I'm here representing the Macon County chapter of Alabama New South, and I have a question. I guess we'll go in alphabetical order. Same question. The Economic Opportunity Zone program was designed to rectify long-standing injustices, but because of the way the program has been implemented, only 33% of Macon County's population benefits. Is there anything that you can do to rectify that issue? And you have 2 minutes to address that.
There is a lack of transparency. There is a lack of understanding. So I think the first thing would be to, 1, understand what that particular thing is, what it means. Then we need to look at how do we get the businesses and the community members within the community to help them build. Because we have businesses here, we have people with organizations. So I think the very first thing would be, 1, how do we work and make it work for us? And a lot of that has to do with what's already been in place, because many times we don't know what's already in place.
Thank you for that question. As you know, that question is a federal question. The program is through the federal government. The governor made the designations, but it was a federal program. And from what I'm understanding, she wanted to make sure that she was using interstate exit accessibility where you had the opportunity to build and to grow. I've talked with her. They're trying to give some reconsideration to it, but right now there's nothing definite that we can say. But they keep telling me that we can use that, the area that they have all the way into the city of Tuskegee.
What do you plan to accomplish in your first 30 and your first 90 days? And I guess in addition to that, what is your top priority?
When I think of where we are and who we are here as a district, the first thing that I want to accomplish is the understanding of transparency of information. The number one priority is really where is our money going and how can we rectify it. I think that's the number one thing that I would say is what needs to be done, because the people are in the dark. The people are not aware. The people are confused. The people are lost in so many different ways. So I think the very first thing, my priority coming in is to, one, acknowledge the people, acknowledge the information, acknowledge what is going on. And so that would be my number one priority is, one, having conversation with our representative to see what has been done and how we can move forward, because I don't believe that we can do it by ourselves. I believe that we have to be able to do it collaboratively. So with all the knowledge, the 17 years of knowledge of our representative, that needs to be, the baton has to be passed. And when the baton is passed, we can get the things that we need done.
My main priority now is that now that we're looking at economic development, we got to develop a workforce. We got to train our people so they are ready. There's a lot of things that's different now. You don't just fill out a piece of paper. You got to do it on a computer. You got to do some things. So right now, I'm getting ready to form a task force. No, I'm coming with another task force, and it's going to be 1 year. We're going to do a strategic plan for 1 year to get people ready, get those with GEDs, without GEDs, get them in the Ready to Work program so that they can know what's actually out there for them to do. And my second thing that I'm going to work on is get a 24-hour health care facility in Macon County. We don't need to have a college in this community and don't have a 24-hour. I'm in the process now of working with the Alabama Hospital Association, East Alabama. I had to tell them I got to quit because I got the campaign, but as soon as I finished, I called Dana the other day. I said, I will be back, and we're going to work on that. And again, that's going to come from the cooperation of the city and the county. I can't do it. I can open the doors, but they're going to have to go in and take advantage of it. Thank you.
Based upon Mayor Hayes' opening statement regarding judging candidates by what they've done and where they've been, what specifically have you done and where have you been to qualify you for the office you are seeking?
Thank you very much for that question. Number one, as a democratic country, as a democratic community, just being here and being a citizen of the United States of America gives me the right to be able to run. That is the first thing. This is my given right as an American. The second thing is, as an individual who has been in this community, I live here, I work here, and I invest in here. And my children go to school here, and I'm present. In 2022, I am presently here in Macon County. That's the number one thing that makes me qualify to take this position. Other than being PTA president, learning to be with understanding the needs of the community. In 2016, when I was PTA president, we saw that there was a need for drug prevention education in our community. I have been on Capitol Hill since 2017, assisting and helping and building a drug prevention coalition. I have been here with the community. I'm on the school board and the transportation board. It always surprises me when I have to make claims of all the different things that I have done, but I am here, I am present, I am part of this community, and so that makes me qualified to run.
Thank you.
As I said, in 2005, I reactivated the Economic Development Authority. I went through the Regional Council, Workforce Council. We had a CNA program. We trained more than 100 people in CNA. We got an Appalachian Region grant for $1.7 million for industrial maintenance. And in that program, we made it available for dual enrollment in the high school students. We also have a class. We had a class for adults. I started dual enrollment in the state of Alabama. I'm the author of dual enrollment in the state of Alabama. Also, to show my leadership and experience, I am in a body of 140 legislators. I'm the only Democrat that chairs a committee, and that is in the most powerful committee, Rules. Another thing, I have worked very, 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 very hard for Tuskegee University. When I started with this program, Tuskegee was getting about $3 million. We're up this year, we're getting 15, plus I squeezed another $2 million, which is a total of $17 million we're getting. I brought ADECA here and started talking with the president. ADECA gave us $1 million Appalachian grant to deal with the aviation program, the new program that we're coming here. And right now, I can truly say during my tenure, I brought over $222 million to Tuskegee University. Thank you.
For this group of candidates, if you require children to have passed the kindergarten requirements to go to the first grade, will that mean that children may start failing kindergarten? What exactly do many children in Macon County, why exactly, do many children in Macon County not acquire the kindergarten skills? And how will your policies address that original cause?
With the question of education, as a mother who homeschooled their child until they were 10 years old and didn't get to do that when I was in Macon, when I moved to Macon County, I believe that, as Representative Warren stated, the importance of building our community is really important when it comes to our children's education. I believe that if we put in programs in place, and I'm definitely a component of task force. When I first came up and put together my campaign policies, the understanding and concept of having 12 task force, each representing a different sector in the community. In reference to education and building, there are many issues within our community that's creating the decline with our families and our children. Many of our parents are not able to be home to take care of their children. So many of the generational welfare situations are imprinted within our community. So I believe that the most important thing is, how do we create programs? And if there are already programs in place, how do we continue those programs to help build our children and build our families?
As relates to Macon County, we have, most of our kids are going to pre-K Head Start. We have, I think, several pre-K programs in Macon County. So it's more when you look at the state. Again, when I go to Montgomery, I'm looking at the state. And when I look at a state that's always 47, 48, I saw one status, we were number 52 in education. That says that we got to reach out and touch everybody in this state to make sure that we can say that our educational system is operating efficiently.
Thank you, both candidates. We will move on to the next position. So we are going to move on to Public Service Commissioner, place number 2. And as you all approach the stage, I will read the position description. Public Service Commissioner. The Public Service Commission consists of 3 elected members, a president, and 2 associate commissioners. The president of the commission is elected during presidential elections, but the 2 associate commissioners are elected during midterms. Each Public Service Commissioner serves a 4-year term, and there is no limit to the number of terms commissioners may be elected to serve. So we will have the candidate introduce themselves, and then we will have our first question by Elizabeth Day. If you can approach the stage. Candidate, you have 4 minutes to introduce yourself.
My name is Laura Lane, and of course I'm running for the Public Service Commission seat number 2. I am a native of Alabama. I was born in Baldwin County, and I graduated high school out of Mobile County. I come from a military family, and I married a man in the military who's about to retire after almost 28 years. And this, actually, I feel like probably the least educated person in this room. This is my first time being over to Tuskegee, and it's a beautiful campus. But let me tell you a story about my education. So I don't have a PhD. I don't have a master's. I don't even have an associate's degree. I was studying for my business administration, and I had 2 classes left to go, and I found out the college I was going to lost their accreditation. And at that point in my life, I had just found out that I had been diagnosed with fibromyalgia, and I said, well, there went that, so let's not pursue it. But before that, being married to a man in the military, I got to travel across the country, learned a lot of things, encountered different cultures, managed to find myself in a position with Boeing and Sea Launch and doing things like policy analysis. So I got to help their defense contractors write their policies on how they were going to implement directives that came down from the Department of Defense. I also handled configuration management. And one of the things that my father taught me is to always have something to fall back on, because you never know where you're going to find yourself in life. And when the carpet gets pulled out from under you, you need something to fall back on. So I studied secretarial sciences. And every time that I had to start over, that's what I did. I entered the company as an executive assistant, and I worked my way up the ladder. So I know how hard it can be out there. Now, the other part is that in the early 90s, I found out about the Libertarian Party. A lot of people don't know what we are. This lady knocked on my door, and at the time I was living in Long Beach, California, and she invited us to the local meeting. So I said, why not? Let's go see. I have no idea what this is about. I'm not really paying attention to politics. I don't think I'm a Republican. I don't think I'm a Democrat. Let me go figure this out. I know I'm not Green Party. So we went, and I said, this seems right. This feels right. And I've been with the Libertarian Party ever since then. I've served as county affiliate chairs. I've organized conventions. I helped with one of our presidential campaigns and organizing fundraising events for them. And my latest stint was here in Alabama as the state chair, which I stepped down from to get our ballot access taken care of. That was a 1.5-year effort. So I know about managing, I know about how to run businesses, even though I don't have that little degree. But I will do my best to represent everyone with us in the state on the PSC.
Thank you. Again, Elise Tolbert. Our first question is, the head of the Environmental Protection Agency has said that the sewage problems faced by Alabama residents are truly unacceptable. For too long, Black counties in Alabama have suffered from poor environmental outcomes with very little help. As Public Service Commissioner, what specifically would you do to address the long-standing environmental and infrastructure issues that primarily Black counties like Macon County face?
Okay, first, the way the Public Service Commission is set up for things such as wastewater management and sewer, a lot of the counties have private contracts with companies that handle that. They're already in place. And the only way that the Public Service Commission can get involved is if the county approaches your legislators, your state house and Senate representatives, and get a bill passed. You'll see 2 of them on your ballot this year. I believe it's 8 and 9. One of them is yes, it's Shelby and Jefferson, and I think part of Tuscaloosa. And those individuals were getting, frankly, they were getting the shaft from the agencies that they had there, and they've taken them to court, and they won their battle, but now they said they want more oversight, and so they have went through their legislation and gotten this bill passed, and now it's going to be up to the state to vote on whether or not the Public Service Commission can oversee the wastewater management systems in those 2 areas. So with that said, I'm well aware of the issues that are, especially over in Perry County. There's some issues in Wilcox too. I probably could come down here and find some if I dug. Yes, Lowndes County too. There are even some in my county, which a lot of people think of, you know, Gulf Shores and stuff, but there are other little areas around there where people need help with those sorts of things. And if they're brought into our purview, I want to make sure that they're treated right. So whatever we have to do, if it's working with the environmental department or, well, let's see, ADECA, I'm sorry, and some of the other agencies like the EPA, then that's what we need to do. We need to get them in there because everyone deserves to have clean water, especially if it's being provided by the city or the county.
Thank you. We'll now have Elizabeth Day with our second question.
Again, Elizabeth Day. So my question is, in the first 90 days of your plan, how would you interact with the residents of Macon County?
Well, first I would come, well, like this. I would try to set up as many city hall or town hall type events and find out what your issues are, what are your concerns, and how we can address those through the commission. Excuse me. Some water would be nice. But again, it's like I haven't seen anything that says Macon, as far as wastewater stuff, is under the Public Service Commission. However, one of the things that I would be pushing for, I think most of you have noticed that your electricity bills have gone up lately. Yeah. Well, thank you, Alabama Power, for that one. And one of the things I've encountered on this campaign trail is a lot of people say, well, I don't get my electricity from Alabama Power. I'm with such and such co-op. Alabama Power has a stranglehold on this state, and that's where the co-op purchases their electricity from. The only people that don't have to deal with them are those in the northern part of the state that are getting their electricity through the TVA. The other thing I would like to do is start addressing more renewable energy. Is that my time? Okay.
Now we have questions from the audience.
I'm here with Councilwoman Jackson. We represent the city of Tuskegee, and we recently dedicated a 1,000-acre solar farm in South Montgomery County. Where is your position? How do you plan to make solar energy and other renewables more available to citizens of Alabama? Because, to be honest with you, we have been one of the last states to make that available. We do very little toward credits. We do very little to promote that. But we did this along with our other cities in our co-op. We started 6 years ago, and we did a 1,000-acre solar farm in South Montgomery County, which will help all our citizens as it comes online in the next few months.
I have to applaud you for that. I remember reading something about it just a few weeks ago. First off, one of the things that I think is like, and most people don't know this, but our state is ranked 8th in the country because of the number of days of sunshine that we get here. So solar power is absolutely something that should be done here, something that we should pursue. One of the things that's holding us back, I believe, is that even though there's nothing in our state code that says people have to be hooked into the electrical grid, that's left to mostly the counties and cities to implement if they choose to do so. However, the Public Service Commission has granted Alabama Power the authority to charge you a fee per month if you wish to have solar power at your home or your business or your farm or, you know, whatever it is, and you're hooked back into the system, which is kind of bizarre. That's not the industry standard at all, and I would be pushing to do away with that.
Is there a second question? Okay, we'll go here and then we'll have one more.
Thank you. I previously had CenturyLink telephone and internet service. And the service for the internet is a disaster. And they tell more lies than they tell truths. And so after waiting 3 weeks for internet service to be repaired and told almost on a daily basis that we'll be there today, I called the Public Service Commission, and they enlightened me that CenturyLink had legislation passed through the legislature, Senate, and the House of Alabama that they no longer would be regulated by the Public Service Commission. But they gave me a number to their customer service line, and I dial it, and it is in, I think, Fort Myers, Florida. The representative that is in charge of complaints that normally would have gone to the Public Service Commission tells me she's never heard of that, and I am the only person who has ever called with a complaint. Well, and then she gave the song and dance that CenturyLink is such a great company and that nobody ever complains about them, and I'm the only one, and she can't imagine why I would do that. But
excuse me, sir, we're a little pressed for time. What is the question for the game?
That's the question, is what can be done to prevent all of these companies that were previously regulated or are presently regulated from getting legislation passed so they are no longer regulated by anybody but themselves?
Unfortunately, the commission is purely an administrative type position. So legislation of that type would actually go through your House and Senate representatives. Something that we could certainly do is you, as a constituent, approaching your representatives and talking to them about this and telling them your issues and what can we do to prevent it. If I was elected, I can also use, I don't want to say influence because I don't really have influence, really, but I can help facilitate those discussions and see what we can do about that.
Thank you.
One last question.
Well, ma'am, I had just one simple question. With the solar panels and solar farms in Alabama, Alabama does not allow net metering. What type of future aspects can we look for to be able to allow net metering so we can get that solar farms opportunity in Alabama, and especially here in Macon County?
I'm sorry, but I'm not really familiar with that term, net metering. But I think what you're, what do you?
Explain that.
Okay.
The net metering is if I have a solar panel.
Yes.
And I get a certain amount of energy.
Right.
I can sell that back to the power company if they buy it.
Right.
But Alabama Power won't buy it.
Right.
They won't give you credit for that. You have to have your storage facilities like a battery to maintain them.
Yes.
Where we're not getting the dividends from being able to sell it back to the power company.
I got you. Okay, I got that. All right, so see, this is the first issue. Oh, well, it's not the first issue. This is part of the problem here. Throughout the industry, it is companies, not the government, companies are offering incentives to you as the consumer to install the solar power and even battery backup systems, which is what you were talking about, okay? And then the company will turn around and offer you a discounted rate if you're connected to the grid to purchase that power back to you. Well, Alabama Power has said, no, they're not going to do like everybody else. So that's why we have to get rid of that solar tax. If you have solar panels and you are connected to the grid, they should be purchasing the electricity from you instead of making you pay them for the privilege of producing electricity for them. That's what it is. So, and they can say all day long that this fee is charged because they want to make sure that power is available to you in case your system goes down. Well, I'm sorry, but they don't have a bank vault back there with your name on it, you know, and storing that electricity in it. So that's not how the system works. And so we've got to do away with that tax and get them back in line with the rest of the industry.
Thank you. We will move on to the next position. Okay, so the sheriff is an elected official serving for a set term of 4 years. The sheriff is responsible for law enforcement on a county level and ensures all local and federal laws are followed. The sheriff uses jurisdiction over any unincorporated areas of his or her county. A sheriff's duty is to manage his or her deputies who are usually uniformed officers who patrol and maintain order and safety in the community. The sheriff's office conducts investigations, approves pistol permits, is responsible for certain legal papers, maintains the security of elections, and performs other law enforcement duties. First, candidates introduce themselves, and then we will have questions by Joshua Lewis. The candidates will have 3 minutes to introduce themselves.
You go ahead, I'm the sheriff.
How's everybody? My name is Harvey Johnson, born and raised here in Macon County, educated here in Macon County, business owner, Massachusetts and Georgia. Okay, now, we don't have but 3 minutes, so I'm gonna get down to the nitty gritty. All right, the sheriff has said, he gave everybody a list of what he said he was gonna do, okay? Some of the things he said he was gonna do is to continue to enforce law enforcement, building the sheriff department youth ranch. He said that 12 years ago when he ran. The sheriff gets $70,000 additional dollars per month from Victory Land Dog Track that he can use at his own discretion. Okay, now if the sheriff had any seriousness about him as far as the boys ranch, it would have been built by now. Okay, the sheriff says he's gonna do all of this, all of these things right here, but he's gonna run. This is his last time running. He's already publicly announced that. So how can they do all this on this paper in 4 years if he haven't done anything in 12 years? We only have one sheriff deputy patrols this county at night. This is one of the largest counties, I mean, as far as square miles in the state of Alabama. That is ludicrous. That is crazy. We have a sheriff. We had an apology from a candidate, and the apology was about the candidate endorsing me for sheriff because she knew that, yes.
You know, Mr. Russell, I'm sorry, the candidate has 3 minutes to introduce themselves. Introduce himself. Okay, he's introducing himself now. Thank you. You can continue, Mr. Johnson.
This is the sheriff department's people. That's why they are doing this. We don't have but 3 minutes. I'm not gonna waste my 3 minutes. I'm Harvey Johnson. I'm from Macon County, born and raised. Our issues are serious. The kids are dying. They are dying. They are dying. They are riding around here in the county with a car full of guns, automatic weapons. The gap between the university and the locals, the gap needs to be bridged. I have daughters that have gone to school in other states. I'm quite sure that the university students here, parents are worried. Who want to send their child off to college and chance them getting murdered because we got a sheriff department that's doing nothing, nothing, but utilizing the $70,000 additional dollars indiscretion funds that he can use at his own discretion for personal gain. Wow. 12 years as sheriff is equivalent to $80,000 that he could have used for the boys' ranch. For the boys' ranch. He could have used that for that. He could have used that to beef up his sheriff department. All of these things that he said he's gonna do, he hasn't done it in 12 years.
You can add. 8.
Well, 8
years.
8 years, I'm sorry.
8 years, yeah, you sorry.
Yeah, 12 years. So,
Please continue. only have 3.
Yes. I spoke to the sheriff. I was one of his biggest supporters when I pulled up outside. I tried to shake his hand here. You saw how he did me. The apology was from Tia Perot because she endorsed me on Facebook.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. We're gonna get back to that part though. Yeah.
Wow.
You have 3 minutes to introduce yourself.
All right, my name is Andre Brunson. I'm the proud sheriff of Macon County, Alabama. I still run on the same platform that I ran on, continue to enforce the law, building a sheriff ranch and a juvenile rehabilitation center with vocational training, uniting all law enforcement agencies and communities in Macon County to build a safer living condition through such groups as Macon County Response Team, Drug and Addiction Team, and Burglary Task Force, initiating the first EMT Deputy Training Program, resurrecting the DARE program, visiting homes to educate not only children but parents as well as issues that face our today's youth, establishing strong community policing for a better relationship between law enforcement and community, upgrading the sheriff department with better pay and equipment for deputies by reallocating funds and grant writing, expanding training programs as gun safety, personal safety, etc. for our citizens, placing the safety of the families, our communities, and our schools first, ensuring traffic enforcement and conducting throughout the county major roadways and in your community. I am committed to you. I have done everything on here except the youth ranch because the youth ranch needs funding. $70,000 won't take care of what we have here and what we need in Macon County. My education is I graduated from this great institution, Tuskegee University. I've been in law enforcement for 32 years, and I have done what I said I was going to do in Macon County. And all y'all can contest to that. And as far as my sheriff department, aren't y'all proud of y'all sheriff department, guys? Yeah. So I don't know where this guy is coming from talking about I didn't speak to him. I didn't speak to him because all he does is get on Facebook and talk about what's going on with me. And if Harvey Johnson tell you where I met him at and how I helped him while he was in that place, I don't know what he's talking about. And if y'all don't know what I'm talking about, ask him. $70,000 I get from the dog track goes to providing stuff for my sheriff department, which I can't provide money for roads. I can't give money away. The money has to be used for the sheriff department.
Okay, well,
it's for a license fee that I get for the sheriff department, and I buy the vehicles for my department. I buy the uniforms for my department. I fix up my jail. I do all these things that I can do to keep the county from playing.
The doors don't even lock in the jail.
I'm sorry, please.
The doors don't even lock. They interrupted me.
Sheriff Brunson, please go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, so I want to ask him an answer what he's talking about. The doors do lock in the jail, but we have one dorm after 20 years. The locks have failed, and we don't have anybody in that dorm. And as we speak, the locks are being fixed by a company out of Montgomery. Thank you, Mayor Ford. I'm sorry. Mayor Haygood, I'm sorry, Mayor Haygood, I'm sorry, just a slip of tongue, for you saying what we do. My thing is to work with all the agencies to get what we need to do to make sure this is a better community and a better county. And that's where I am here in Macon County. I am the proud sheriff of Macon County, and I want to continue to do so. I'm not up here for this foolishness. You know, it takes somebody that has experience.
That's the end of your time. Thank you. We're actually going to go to questions.
So kids that's dying is foolishness? Are youth that's dying is foolishness?
You'll have your chance to respond. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to have Ms. Carly Cole actually answer her question.
All right. That's all right.
You gonna lock me up out of this?
No. I ain't gonna do that. Just tell the truth about what.
Good evening, everyone.
My
name is Carly Cole, and I am a Booker T. Washington High School student. And my question is, the average violent crime rate for the U.S. is 22.7%, while it is 51% for Macon County. The average property crime rate is 35% for the U.S., while it's 72%.
You say that.
Candidates, this question is for the two of you. I'll allow our high school student, Ms. Carly Cole, 12th grade senior from Booker T. Washington High School, to ask the question again.
Thank you, Ms.
With
Cole.
your attention. Thank you.
Thank you. My question is, the average violent crime rate for the U.S. is 22.7%, while it is 51% for Macon County. The average property crime rate is 35% for the U.S., while it's 72% for Macon County. These two statistics alone show the addressing crime rate in Macon County is a challenge that impacts quality of life. As sheriff, how are you prepared to address these issues? You have 2 minutes.
You the sheriff, answer the question. That's sheriff. Huh? No, you the sheriff. You answer the question.
You answer.
First of all, we have to hit it head on. It's gonna take a candidate, and I don't mean this in a bullying way. It's gonna take a candidate that's feared and respected. It's gonna take a candidate that's gonna go head on. It's gonna take a candidate that's not trying to be friends with everybody. It's gonna take a candidate that has some ideas. It's gonna take a candidate that do something as simple as point checks, roadblocks, getting these guns out of these cars. It's gonna take a candidate that, when they get a call, show up in a timely manner. That's what it's gonna take. It's gonna take mentorship. You know what I'm saying? All this famous stuff and my friend stuff, it's not gonna take that, because up under his administration, we've lost almost 30 kids just in Capricorn Village alone. But nobody wants to talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Until it gets to your doorstep and it hits your child. I had a bullet come through my house where drug dealers was being robbed in the neighborhood, in the area. And the sheriff department didn't come. I'm not gonna allow the sheriff department, but they should have came, because he said a united law enforcement, dealing with all entities and all agencies, law enforcement agencies throughout the county. But he didn't show up. When the police department left, they left evidence, physical evidence all over the ground, hats, gloves, and things of that nature. We called them back. I talked to the council member, Norma Jackson. I explained to her my concerns, and that no one from the city came back to do a follow-up. Just the other day, Capricorn, they had a shooting. My nephew was over there, his truck got shot up. He called the sheriff department just to get a report for insurance. He was hanging with the wrong guy that was having beef with somebody over in Capricorn Village. He had no idea. Called the sheriff department. No one ever showed up. Nobody even came to his house to simply take a police report so he can file an insurance claim to get his truck fixed. We are sitting around in this county with one deputy patrolling this county at night.
Thank you, that's time.
Yeah. Yes.
Sheriff Burton?
Can you ask me the question again?
Yes, the question.
What will you do to curb?
Ask the question, sir. Thank you.
I'm going to get him the question, huh?
The average Okay, Sheriff.
Yes.
The question is, the average violent crime rate for the U.S. is 22.7%, while it is 51% for Macon County. The average property crime rate is 35% for the U.S., while it's 72% for Macon County. These two statistics alone show the addressing crime rate in Macon County is a challenge that impacts quality of life. As Sheriff, how are you prepared to address these issues?
Well, as sheriff, we have been addressing these issues for a while, but as you know, crime, education, crime, money has effect on the crime that we have in Macon County. In Macon County, we don't have a lot of jobs. We don't have a lot of money and things like that. So economics play a great toll on what we do here in Macon County with crime, with these murders. I don't know exactly how many they have been, but we definitely work together on these crimes in Macon County, from the city to each city and each town in this county. We work together trying to solve these crimes. If it was up to me, and if I had a mental thing that I could know where these crimes were, we would be there. But my deputies have more than one guy working the streets at night. That's just ludicrous to say, but we don't have to get into that, and I'm sorry that this turned into this. We're here to answer questions and be professional about it, and that's what I'm trying to do. Macon County Sheriff Department will always be here to answer all your calls. I don't know what he's talking about that nobody showed up, but if nobody showed up, then I'll take care of that. Thank you.
Thank you. We have 2 pre-submitted questions for the audience. The first question is for Sheriff Brunson. As there is a commendable history under your leadership with regard to community relations, notably the lack of violent incidents with civilians. What is your policy regarding restraint?
Well, all my guys, we have a policy that you don't put your hands on anybody unless you have to, unless it's seriously necessary to put your hands on people. I tell my guys that we are part of this community, and most of the time when people call us, it's because they're in trouble, they're upset, or something is going on with them. So when we go on a call, it can't be personal. We can't go out there saying that we're mad at somebody. I tell them if somebody cursing you out, it's okay. They upset. You know, we go out when people have people murdered, when people have things broken into, and we can't take those personal because we're there to serve the people of this county. And that's our policy, to serve the people of this county, because we care about the people in this county. I don't hire anybody that tell me that they don't like people. I judge their character and I look into what they've done. You know, we can't even work if we've been arrested or anything. You know, so we try to hire good people, and it's all about serving the community, and that's our policy, to serve the community. And if anybody have any incident with anybody, we write them up and we'll look into it, and then they would be in trouble. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is for Harvey Johnson. Are you not presently under indictment in the state of Georgia for a vicious attack on a police officer? How can you be trusted as sheriff with such serious charges pending?
Okay, I'm not up in indictment for viciously attacking a police officer in the state of Georgia. I'm gonna tell you how you find this. I'm gonna tell you how you can find this case. All right, what I need you guys to do, go to your YouTube channel, look up Harvey Johnson and Police. Harvey Johnson Police. This is what happened. Every year, my daughter and I, we go to Martha's Vineyard to celebrate our birthday. I flew down from Massachusetts to pick my daughter up. This particular night, there were no hotels. They had NBA All-Star game in Atlanta, Georgia, okay? So we couldn't find a hotel. So we was trying to get a hotel to stay close to the airport so we can get a shuttle bus to go to the airport. Wasn't happening. So on my way back to Alabama, I stopped in Newnan, Georgia to get gas, and I got a coconut water. And I'm gonna need more than 3 minutes now. And the attendant.
I'm sorry, sir, you don't have one.
Okay, anyways, look it up. They said I was pulled over for suspicion of drunk driving. I was tased. They edited the video. I was tased twice. They edited the video. I was tased in my back as I was trying to walk off. I was at my hotel where I had my reservation. I was tased twice. The officer grabbed me. I pushed the officer off me, and I ran into the hotel lobby. It's all on film. They said I was stopped for suspicion of drunk driver. Look at the charges. Listen to at the end of the video what they say the charges are for. It doesn't line up with the narrative of why I was stopped. A low blow. I haven't been convicted. They keep postponing the case. I have some 5 lawyers. They keep postponing the case. Yes, postponing the case. No assault on the officer. Only thing it was a disorderly conduct. I got tased twice. I pushed the officer off me, ran into the hotel lobby to try to get the attendant to let them know that I had reservations here.
Thank you.
Harvey Johnson Police. Look it up on YouTube. Harvey Johnson Police.
Thank you.
Yes. Very good one. Good one, Sheriff.
Do we have any questions from the
about this rape now.
Yes.
I don't even know what you're talking about, but go ahead. But I didn't say nothing about that.
I have another question for the
I definitely did.
This has nothing to do with anybody else. It's just a question I would like to ask for myself and ask for someone who is in Macon County and a student of Macon County. So I want to know what your ambitions are as sheriff, and how can a sheriff make those ambitions come true?
You talking to the sheriff or you talking to me?
I'm talking to both of you candidates.
My ambitions as sheriff is for a safe Macon County. A county to where it could be just like it was when we were growing up. A county that can become a Black Wall Street again. A county to where the university students can feel safe. You understand? A county to where we are regulating our drugs. You set up shop in here in Macon County, you can do anything you want. Our reputation has gotten so bad to where murders are being created in other counties and they are dropping the bodies off here in Macon County. So I will be aggressively mentoring the children. I will be aggressively kicking these doors in, not being too close to the drug dealers, not bailing my daughter's boyfriend out of jail from selling dope as the sheriff. You know what I'm saying? Since you want to go a low blow, I haven't been convicted. But anyways, I would do things like that. I would not play with the drug dealers. I would bring safety back to the community because everybody is leaving the community because of crime and violence. 1 minute, crime and violence. And I'd be very passionate about it, and I would not be playing. I would not be playing. I would not be playing. You would feel safe.
All right. So my vision is to do what we talked about and try to make sure we get more on what's going on. For me, you know, even before I became sheriff, my thing, and I've talked to the mayor about it, I've talked to all the people, I think that, you know, we need a unified office. You know, we need the sheriff department with the police department, with all the other agencies around it, just combine what we have together so we don't duplicate equipment, so we have more manpower for each area of this county. So my thing would be kind of to make like a metro, which would put more men out working during the day and night to make sure we can better serve this community, because we just need more people, more equipment, and I think we're all too small to act alone on what we need here in Macon County. So that's what I would propose.
Hello, my name is Cheryl Harden. I attend Bootsy Washington, as it was previously stated. I have been here all of my life, and I think, like, I understand your concern about the violence, but it also takes like a community and also to be able to trust them. Because if you don't trust them, I don't think that it will be able to work or it will come across as effective. So I just wanted to ask you, Mr. Harvey Johnson,
yes, ma'am.
How would you build a community with students of Macon County, how Sheriff Brunson has since I've been like 8 years old? Thank you.
Well, great question. Basically, I would be a mentor, with a strong mentorship, okay? And you know, we would have to basically, you know, we would have to put some initiatives in place to give these youths actually something to do, so, you know, it just won't be all on the sheriff to try to, you know, make things better for I mean, as far as the kids. You know, we have to put things in what you call recreational facilities in place. You know what I'm saying? We have to lobby for that. We have to get the drugs off the street, so you guys, you know, it'll lessen your chances of, you know, utilizing drugs. You know what I'm saying? We have to get the crime element out of the community so it doesn't spill over to you guys, because you guys are very influential at a nubile age. So, you know, eradicating the crime, you know what I'm saying, you know, things like that is something that I would do very aggressively to let you know that if you get in trouble in Macon County, if you have a gun and you shoot somebody, we're going to take you down through that, and we're going to also instill that law that the state already has on the books, that if you do a crime with a weapon, you get an additional 25 years. We would actually be advocating for that. So we have to get the drugs out of the community so it will lessen your chances of utilizing drugs, put some positive things in the community, you know what I'm saying, and not having separatism in our sheriff department and not operating off loyalty. Like someone said earlier, you know, they're going to be loyalty, but sometimes loyalty, you can be on the wrong side of the aisle with loyalty. You know what I'm saying? You're loyal to a department that's not taking our public safety serious, or you're going to be loyal to somebody that's seriously trying to put public safety measures in place. See, loyalty goes two ways. Which side of loyalty do you want to be on? Just because I was endorsed by a candidate, you know what I'm saying? He ripped her. She came back and apologized and said, you know, gave her back his loyalty. But loyalty is on the wrong side because we're losing kids.
I'm sorry, that's time.
Yep.
That's time for this section. We have 2 more sections, and then we have 2 writing candidates that are going to get a chance.
It was fun. It was fun, buddy.
We're going to move on to the Macon County coroner position. May you please approach the stage. And thank you, candidates, for sharing.
Thank you.
The office of the coroner serves the living by working on behalf of the deceased to obtain the truth about the circumstances of their death. Some of the responsibilities include speed investigation, taking custody of the body, identification and notification of next of kin, death certificates, the discovery of remains reports, and then also pronouncing death and determining the time that the death occurred. So first we will have introductions by the candidates, which will be 3 minutes each, and then we will move on to questions.
Good afternoon. My name is Arthur Johnson. I'm a resident of Macon County, lifelong resident. I have 2 kids, and my platform is that I want to establish a county city morgue in this Macon County. My priority, I want to establish a coroner's office also in Macon County. I have been in the funeral industry for over 35 years. I also, as a resident, I have served as manager in the funeral industry. I've worked with kids as well. I have been very active in the service industry. And I want to offer myself to the citizens of Macon County for this position. On November the 8th, it is time for a change.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Hal Bentley. I'm the coroner of Macon County. I've been the coroner of Macon County for the past 36 years. I want to thank the citizens of Macon County for their support. I am a graduate of Tuskegee University. I have a master's degree from Tuskegee. Now more than ever, concerning coroner, it is about owning resources. The Alabama Department of Forensic Sciences have stopped coming to the scene of murders, and now the rural coroner has to do more. They have to have more resources in place. And also with that, defense attorneys are beginning to try to attack rural coroners in court. You have to be able to testify in court about where you stored a body that particular night of the murder. And I am lucky enough to own my own facilities. I do have refrigeration, and a lot of times the state will say that we're full, can you keep the body until Monday or Tuesday? And, you know, citizens of Macon County have a coroner that owns his facilities, and it's not questioned that succession of anybody tampering with the body or anything like that, because I own my own facilities. It does count even more now than before. I am uncomfortable talking about myself, but I do want to ask you to please vote for me on November the 8th. Re-elect me. I would like to be coroner for another 4 years. Thank you.
Thank you. So the first question, as I stated before, the office of the coroner serves a living by working on behalf of the deceased to obtain the truth about the circumstances of their death. As coroner for Macon County, what methods will you employ to ensure that the true causes of death are always investigated and reported in the spirit of truth and transparency?
Well, one of the ways that is done is you would go to a scene and investigate the scene. There you have the first initial contact. You would go there to the scene, investigate the scene, determine that is it a natural death or it is a homicide. Then from there you would go there then and take possession of the body, then send that deceased to Department of Forensic Science.
Well, you use your experience to try to determine what has happened here. You gather what the family is telling you, and then step by step you determine whether or not we need the Department of Forensic Sciences or not. You have to remember one of the pluses of a rural coroner is not necessarily when there's been an obvious murder and someone is in flight from the scene. One of the strengths of a rural coroner is letting sometimes a family know that something might be wrong here. You know, I have seen through my experiences a family have no idea that something might be wrong. I've seen families see their 30-year-old son take a nap and didn't think anything was wrong with it. They thought that God just took them. But in my experience, that is a little bit too young, and you do want to look into that. You do want to ask questions beyond that, and then proceed from there. You can take the investigation as far as you see fit as coroner. You may not need forensics. You can dismiss the death at the scene if enough factors are in place to warrant declaring it a natural death right there. And you just use your experience. You know, you're lucky enough to have a reputation, even in surrounding counties, and being able to testify as a great witness. And it protects the public when you can testify on behalf of the prosecution. I've been subpoenaed to Lee County, Montgomery County to testify in murder trials.
Thank you. Do we have any questions from the audience?
Yes, my name is Clifton Boyd, and I just have a question to both of you. I'm looking at the sample ballot. I see where it said the Democrat Party, Republican Party, and Libertarian, etc. But I'm reading where you say you both are independent. Can I get a clarification from the both of you? How did you end up, being in that particular situation, please?
Yes. I've been coroner a long time, and I'm in the trenches. I'm busy. And time comes and goes, that's all. And I missed the deadline to be a long-time Democrat. I am a lifelong Democrat, and I missed the deadline. And so at that point, I had to gather the signatures and run as an independent. I didn't mind, I don't mind doing it. And I'm on the ballot, and I'm asking for your vote. Of course, I'm going right back to the Democratic Party immediately, regardless of the outcome of this race. You deal with life as it comes, and life is not perfect. I missed the deadline, and I take responsibility for that. I got phone calls saying this and saying that. I said, no, it's my responsibility, and I take responsibility for it.
Well, I am also a Democrat, and I had people ask me, Brother Johnson, won't you run as coroner? I had thought one time not to run. So I decided to run, and the deadline had passed. I had to get secure signatures as well. Now, if you're busy, Brother Hal, why don't you go ahead on and step down and let me go ahead and take that position. I'll take it gladly. So you can just go ahead on, relax, and retire, and I will be the next coroner of Macon County.
Okay, so this is our final question for the segment. Did anyone from the audience have a question that they wanted to ask? Okay. So, what are the most pressing issues in your office, and what do you see as your top priorities?
As I stated in my open statement, we always say and will say, and once elected, my priority will be to establish a county city morgue because it is very much needed. In surrounding areas of other counties, that morgue is established because we cannot determine and cannot depend upon, and that's not no to you, Harold, about you having your own funeral home. Certainly it's not. But we need one in case something happens where we need to store deceased remains. And other counties have it, we need one as well. And that's the main priority. And the second one is, that my other priority is to have a county office for a coroner. When families in time of need have questions, they will have somewhere to go, somewhere to contact during that particular time, because these families and these people and other entities of the county and state need to have someone to call and someone to contact them during that particular time. And I believe working with all the different entities in the county, the sheriff department, the police department, and the DA's office.
Well, all I can say is you have to be there for the public, and just like I have been, I've been there for the public. I have to deal with reality as is. You know, we don't have the volume of deaths to have a lot of money from the local, county, city, and what have you. I'm not ashamed that I own a funeral home and that I own refrigeration. And I am in a rural county, and I've always been here for you. It's all right to think about this or think about that, but we're not a metropolis. We're not a major city, and I don't expect to have a building built just for me, and I don't expect to have a lot of vehicles given to me and cots and what have you. We live in the rural. And like I say, I'm here for you if you will have me.
Thank you to both candidates. Now we will move on to county commissioners, district number 4. May you please approach the stage. Among the principal governmental functions vested in Alabama counties are law enforcement, tax assessment, levy and collection, administration of the citizens' estates, and probate matters. Base of real and personal property title records, construction and maintenance of public roads and bridges, and maintenance of the county courthouse, which provides office space for various county officials and county and state departments. Macon County is governed by a 5-member county commission composed of a chairman of 4 commissioners. The chairman of the county commission is a registered voter who is elected countywide for a 4-year term on the presidential cycle. The other 4 members of the county commission are elected from single-member districts for 4-year terms. Each commissioner must be a registered voter and live within the district they represent. Commissioners representing District 1 and District 3 are elected in the presidential election cycle. Commissioners representing District 2 and District 4 are elected in the gubernatorial election cycle. First, we will have the candidates introduce themselves. You receive 3 minutes each.
Good evening. I hope everyone's doing well this evening. My name is Jan Fountain, and on November 8th, 2022, I will be on the Democratic ballot as Janice Jan Fountain for the Macon County District 4 Commissioner position. I take this commissioner position very seriously. Yes, this will be a new experience for me, political standpoint, but not new for me to be involved in the community. I serve on the Board of Directors for the Macon County Healthcare Authority, Macon County Tuskegee Public Library, and Harrisburg Museum. I volunteer at Notasulga High School, Macon County Children's Policy Bookmobile Project. I'm an active member of Notasulga High School PTSA, Friends of Tuskegee Airmen, Chamber of Commerce, Macon County Democratic Conference, Macon County CARES Task Force, and Comprehensive Health Response Committee. I attend Mount Pleasant Missionary Baptist Church, where I serve on the Usher, Courtesy, and Shepherd's Ministry. I've been employed in the medical field for 49 years as a registered radiologic technologist, registered computerized technologist, and registered mammography technologist. I mention my community involvement because serving as District 4 Commissioner is about working in and for the community. I realize this will be a continuous learning and sometimes challenging experience, but in reality, that's everyday life. The main thing is how you manage to make each day a positive day. I'm ready for the challenge and willing to learn and work and be the best commissioner I can be for Macon County District 4. I sincerely care about the well-being of the others and positive progression of our community. I'm a positive, loyal, honest, dedicated, hardworking team player. My concerns are the concerns and issues of the citizens and how they can be addressed to their satisfaction. I'm concerned about roads and bridges, broadband internet service, litter control, senior citizen care, pre-K to third grade literacy, healthcare, economic growth. The commissioners have to have a listening ear, open conversation, and be committed to the citizens, evaluate the issue, have a strategy, research resources, funding, reach out to train knowledgeable people in and outside of our community who are willing to share ideas, solutions, strategies that will be beneficial with positive results. All entities within Macon County community have to work together for us to prosper. No one district can or should do it alone. So this fountain is running for you, and I'm focused on our future. Thank you.
My name is Frank Dillman, and I'd like to thank all of you for attending this evening. I'm a Vietnam veteran with 20 years honorable service in the Navy. 10 of it was the Marine Corps as their dock or corpsman. I've spent easily close to 15 years of watching Macon County Commission. And I have developed an acronym, TAR, T-A-R. Macon County Commission lacks it. Transparency, accountability, and responsibility. Without TAR, this county cannot, and it's been proven, cannot advance. It was already mentioned this evening a couple of times where communication. Representative Warren said she can only do so much. She provides the information to the county. The county needs to move forward. The county does not move forward. And without, like I said, without the transparency, I can't get the budget. We cannot see the budget. We cannot see the expense allowances for the commissioners. Those are the documents that we, as the people, deserve to have. I actually took a lawsuit. Cost me $15,000 to sue the county for violation of the Open Records Act. If the county is not willing to put their documents on the website voluntarily, I will take them home and I will scan them in for all of you in this room. I am responsible for the county purchasing their website. Yes, Frank Dillman. And that's a story I'll share with you later on if you'd like. I'm also responsible for the County Employee Recognition Program. You gotta wonder why a citizen had to do that. I'm also responsible for the improved public address system and the monitors in the meeting chamber. Yes, why? Me. I'm also responsible for the streaming of those meetings that you may enjoy, those county meetings. I started that in January 2019 until I got into a discussion with one of the commissioners and during COVID, and I was fired, yes, barred, quote, barred by the chairman not to return to county meetings. The per capita in our county is $22,000, people. 1 in 3 of us live in poverty. I sincerely object to the commissioners making $28,000 or more. That's the max I can find out, or more. And our commissioners actually make more than the Lee County commissioners. I will reduce my salary down to the per capita in this county. It'd be about $5,000 or $6,000 a year. And I will give that money to the Notasulga school system for the after-school clubs. So those students can be rewarded for expanding their education in a different venue. I do that on principle. I survive on principle. I'm not doing this for money. Collaboratively, I will work with the citizens. I love communication. I will work with the citizens because it's the citizens that have the solutions, not the five sitting up there behind the dais. I will work with the citizens and the communities to create magnets. We've heard from the mayor. We've heard from Representative...
I'm sorry, still that's time. Thank you. So first we have our first question. Our local school system and universities prepare students to be competent in the workforce, yet there's little opportunity to actually enter into the workforce here. What is your specific strategy or strategic plan to increase workforce and jobs available here for youth who are looking for these opportunities?
You want to go? Go ahead.
Well, it wouldn't be my plan alone. It would take other entities, like I said, in the community to come together to get a plan. We have the CTE program that's available that can train students and adults in the community for jobs that are available. So we just have to make sure the community knows that there are resources here to get training.
Thank you.
And to follow through what Representative Warren said earlier, she has been involved in education here in our county, and I compliment you for that with the CNA and other programs. But some of the magnets that we need to create here in this county to keep those employees and the graduates from our high school and colleges, we need jobs with benefits, manufacturing. We also, I feel, that we need to reduce the obstacles. I love mom and pops. We should have a mom and pop on every street corner. We don't, because the county needs to take the low-hanging fruit. It's called a business privilege fee. Personally, I call it the extortion fee, but neither here nor there. It's a privilege fee. I would like to eliminate that, and I would like to have that eliminated to encourage people to stay here and create. If somebody wants to have a lawnmower shop on their street corner, if mom wants to have a crochet shop, they should be encouraged to do that, not have obstacles thrown at them. We also need to have recreational facilities. Thank you, ma'am. Recreational facilities for our youth and seniors. That can come from the $15,000 plus that are for the expense allowances that I'm not really sure how much the county gives to the commissioners. High-speed broadband, reliable cell phone service, we've already heard about that. A voluntary recycling program. And I will also communicate with our District 4 commissioners, citizens on an annual basis, giving them a final report on an annual basis, telling them what my successes were, failures, if they're failures, why and who, and give them an idea of what I project in the future. So they can communicate with me as their commissioner to let them know what exactly is what I would like to do for them and how they can contribute to those efforts. I think my time's up now, huh? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Now we would like to open it up to the audience for questions.
I know that I have been to county commission meetings where Frank Dillman has, where you have asked for public records, where you've asked for copies of the budget and copies of minutes of meetings that were held, and you were denied copies of them. And what, especially to both of you, what are you going to do to answer to the people when they ask for records or they want to know information such as the salary and the expense of commissioners of Macon County and how much the commissioner is being made and what kind of charges are being made on credit cards for gasoline purchases that are not explained and the records are not provided? Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I believe my thoughts are whatever is knowledgeable to the community, Open Records Act, they should be, the community should be able to see whatever is available to them. They shouldn't be held back. You know, they have to be transparent. You know, what's right is right in those records, and they need to be shown to the community. I don't see any problem without the, you know, the community being able to see those books, what the budget is, what the, expenses are. They're open for the community.
All right.
And I can't second that more. Unfortunately, our Open Records Act in Alabama is terrible. And I would ask Representative Warren to take a look at that if you haven't. It's disgraceful. There's no teeth in it for the citizen. This here is a writ of mandamus that I have written. It's a legal document containing violations of Open Records Acts by the county right here. I've spent hours and hours creating this, and when I give records requests to the county commissioners, I don't give it once, because sometimes things forget. We understand that some things get lost in the shuffle. I don't do it twice. I do it 3 times at least. And on the letters, when I give them the second and third time, I put a block in there in the upper right corner to drive attention to it. So sir, it's a deliberate attempt. It's not a mistake. It's a deliberate attempt by our county government to keep those records from us. And I will, as I stated in my comment, I have to have access to those records as a commissioner. And if the county government, primarily it's the chairman, but the commissioners are at fault. They all received Open Records Act requests because they have upwards of $15,000 a year for the rec funds. I want to know where and how that money is being spent. But if the chairman and the commissioners don't provide the documents to the public, I will take them home. And if you go to frankdillman.com, you will see a lot of documents on there that I have gotten in the past from the county, just biting and pushing them into the corner. So I feel very, very strongly about the Open Meetings Act and the Open Records Act and the Limited Self-Governance Act that we have here in Macon County, and all of those have been abused. Thank you. Thank you for the question. Good question.
All right. Good evening. My name is David Henderson. I'm a resident of District 4. And my question is, like a lot of times we talk about the limitations we have in Tuskegee and Macon County, but we can look at other cities in this area and our state that are doing extremely well and use those as examples to follow. But you have to communicate with, those other cities, and maybe you can, get some ideas from them and so forth. For each of you, what is your experience that you have reaching beyond Macon County to maybe to pull on ideas from other cities and counties that are doing very well that we can model ourselves after?
Well, I would love for Macon County to be a model city, a model county. As far as I have personally, I have not reached outside. I've really worked all my time in Macon County, but I have no problem in reaching out. I would love to contact other areas and see what they are doing to make, certain projects prosper. We can't just limit it to us. We have to, be able to share what we know, and the other counties share how they have prospered in their projects. I have no problem with that at all. Like I said, I would love, that's my goal. I want to see us really prosper, everyone work together in and outside this community.
I have reached out east and west and north. Representative Warren will know that I was a member of the Lee County Voters League. I'm a political junkie, folks, if you haven't figured that out. If there's a political organization, it's a predominantly Democrat group, but I don't really care. I'm a political junkie. And so I have reached out. I know commissioners, former commissioners, and current commissioners in Lee County. I can comfortably walk the State House with representatives and senators there. I was the executive committee with the Libertarian Party, and I stepped down 2 years ago. I know people in Huntsville. There's a legislator that was just recently unelected. I spoke with him just today. He's up there in Huntsville, Tommy Haynes. And so I have been reaching out into Montgomery. I know Janice Perrin, and they're in Bullitt County. So I have, and I believe that is the only way that we can solve our problems. For us to assume that the 5 individuals sitting behind the dais that meet once or twice a month in the evenings, don't know how many times they meet in the mornings, which I also object to, and that's one of the meetings I moved to the evening, got them to do that for the general public. So I have been doing that. I'm very, very comfortable speaking with people. I also have a statewide campaign, and some of you have got my flyers on that. I believe in the people. I believe in all of you. And whatever I can do to foster the economic growth in our county that all of us would benefit by, I will. And I'm not ashamed, nor am I inhibited by speaking my mind with other counties and other public servants for my knowledge and where I can bring that back. And anything I learn, I will pass on to you, the individuals, and I thank you.
Thank you. That was the final question for this position. We'll move on to the next.
Good luck.
Okay, we're here to interrupt. So we have 2 more rounds. We have candidates for State Senate, District 28. State Senate candidates, you can approach the stage. And then we have a final candidate for writing candidate for County Commission in District 2.
Good evening. Thank everybody for coming out here tonight. My name is David Boatwright. I'm 26 years old. I'm a libertarian. I'm from Dothan, Alabama. I'm a native from that area. I lived there majority of my life. And I'm running for office because of the events that I saw in 2020. It really upset me. Thank you. The events of 2020 really upset me. Watch what was going on in this nation, what was happening in our communities, the people, and just the discord and the division that grew between everybody. And so in February of this year, I decided to join the Libertarian Party and look for an office to run for. And I hope that I can serve in this community and serve the office to the best of my ability and to serve everybody else. Thank you.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Cornelius D. Smith. That's how it's going to appear on the ballot for Alabama State Senator, District 28, which includes Macon County, Lee County, Russell County, and Bullock County. And before I go on, I just looked at Tony there. I'm glad to be home. I have not lived in Tuskegee for over a year now, but I've been back for a year now. I should say it that way. And so to tell you about myself, I was born here in Tuskegee, 1973, right over there in John Andrew Hospital, which doesn't exist. And yes, Representative Warren, we got to get some medical service here. I've known Mayor Haygood even before I was born. My mother worked at Southern Vocational College, which his father founded. And after graduating high school in 1991, I went to the Army. And I served about 3 years or so, and I had an injury that they sent me home with the disability that I still get paid for. Anyway, but I'm in good health, I'm good. And so after returning home, I started college at Troy University in Montgomery. I have a business degree from Troy with a minor in management. So that's a major business administration, minor in management. When I was in college, I worked here in Tuskegee at the Gomillion building in the with the employment service. I'm a veteran, that's right, Mr. Deal, through the work study program there. And after college, I was hired on with the Department of Labor, and I worked about 10 years with the Unemployment Compensation Division. And so right after the Great Recession, which was when Barack was going for his second term, the employment office was just out of control. Am I over 3? I'm sorry. No, you're good? Okay. You can't be doing that. All right. Let me say, I decided to cash my retirement in after 10 years or so with the state, and I started a consulting company called Smith One Company. In the beginning, I basically did customer service work from home. Oh yeah, I got married too.
You better not forget that.
Well, that's what got me back to Tuskegee. I'm divorced now. Anyway, so it's been a year and a half I've been in transition. So now I'm back. Everything is intact. With my consulting company, I started a delivery service in Montgomery in 2017 called Adam Delivery Service. And at that time, we were the only delivery service in Montgomery, first to do that. And within 6 months, I had national competition. And to this day, we pretty much have every delivery service there. And after the divorce, got here, saw the commercial for Victoryland with the machines again. I was like, double jeopardy. That means there's something wrong downtown, and we need we need a new senator, is what it boils down to. There's not someone down there looking out for us. All right, I'll be glad to answer some questions now.
All right, thank you. Our first question is, if you were elected to this position, how would you envision engaging the citizens of Macon County in decision-making?
Personally, I like to go, to get to know people one-on-one. I'm not really a public speaker type of person, so my idea of engaging with the citizens and try to get them involved in the community is getting out there and actually walking door to door, going to people's businesses and talking with them and trying to show, I can't do this alone. Politicians can't do it alone. The people that we elect can't do it alone. We need the people beside us helping us do those things. So I like to work hands-on, and I would be in the community, walking around, trying to talk and get to know people. Thank you.
Would you please repeat the question?
Yes. If you were elected to this position, how do you envision yourself engaging the citizens of Macon County in decision-making?
All right, great. Well, first of all, I have 3 committees that I'm going to be interested in being senator for District 28, which is tourism, the youth and human services, and veterans affairs. And I'll start with education because of this great university that we're sitting here at now, this great campus, I should say. And we want to first build a bridge between the local community and the university in the form of, I've got a term in my head here. Remember, I'm a business consultant, so I'm constantly developing different ideas. And I'm looking at starting a program called First to College. And that goes back with what Representative Warren was mentioning earlier with regards to education. Even though Tuskegee University is one of the most prominent universities on the planet, less than 25% of the graduates are from Tuskegee, actually from Tuskegee. And so, now I get it, that says 1 minute. All right, got you. And so my goal is with First to College is to build a mentorship program that will start where you take basically students and from first grade to college. They should have a mentor who's here at the university and basically train that child up to the point where he's a teenager. Once he graduates from high school, he pretty much has a career path based on his performance over that time that he's been mentored. And plus it gives the actual students on campus an opportunity to show their expertise with regards to how can you be like me when you grow up. So that's the main thing that I want to do is build that bridge between the university and the local community so that as we educate our younger people, it gives us a better future later on. Thank you. Stop.
Thank you. We'll take our 2 questions from the audience. Are there 2 questions from the audience? Okay, 2 questions.
I'll do ladies first, and then we'll come to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Hello.
This question is for both of you. I'll admit maybe I've missed it or whatever, but what qualifies you to run for this position compared to Senator Beasley, who's had a few years in office, to whether you agree or disagree that he has done anything for Macon County or for his district?
Thank you. I'll be glad to answer that question. Like I mentioned earlier, I didn't mention the whole story, but I made a decision on October 14th, which was 2 weeks ago, to run for this office. And it was based on me watching the news, WSFA, in which it was stated that supposedly the machines at Victoryland are not legal again. So I was like, double jeopardy. And what I mean by that, to bring everyone up to speed, over, 10, 15 years ago, after Governor Rowley, at the end of his term, somehow it was determined that the machines at Victoryland were illegal. And so, now this is after he had spent over $500 million renovating the place. There's a hotel that sits there right now that has rooms that haven't even been slept in because it was determined that those machines were illegal. So then I'm like, okay, 10 years later, after the founder has gone on, along with the vice president, they say they're illegal again. So I was like, there's got to be a problem. There's a gap somewhere at the State House with regards to Tuskegee. Now, how can I fix that? With my consulting company, I started a company called Tuskegee Investment Group Entertainment Real Estate, which the acronym is TIGER. And this was in 2020. Since this pandemic, I swear, I'm like, anyway, with time. And once I started that group, the whole purpose of it is entertainment and real estate. Going back to Victoryland and Tuskegee again, I was born in the 70s, and I can remember when Tuskegee was a big entertainment city. That's what we attracted, were people to come here and have a good time on the weekends. And so once upon a time, Victoryland served as a place for revenue that we don't have anymore. And so therefore, got it.
Okay, thank you. We have one final question from the audience.
Oh, yes.
Oh, my apologies. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So the reasons I think I'm qualified to run for this office compared to Billy Beasley, I'm young. We need some new ideas, and he's been in office for a long time, and we're getting a lot of the same old, same old. I am the new young, and we need some new change in this area. I'm a father. I'm passionate about this country. I care about our kids. I want to see our kids do good, and I'm a veteran. So, yeah, I know what it means to go and serve and dedicate myself to a higher cause, and that is what I will do for District 28 for the people of Macon County. Thank you.
This question is for both of you, and thank you both for coming tonight. I'm sorry everyone left before they heard your answers. And my question to both of you is, if you are elected, are you going to sell us out to the corporations like Alabama Power and CenturyLink and let them have their way and use the people and rape hell out of them? Because if you do, I will be watching you, and I will help you be unelected.
Great question. Well, I should say great statement. Short answer, no, not selling anyone out. However, and I'm going back to Representative Warren again because I like what she has to say. She's been doing a great job as our representative, and I was so glad that you continue to run because I was worried if that. Anyway, point of the matter is this. Tuskegee has to develop its own economy.
That's right.
All right? And that economy, in my opinion, is entertainment. All right? And so what I'm proposing is we've got to be somewhat self-efficient. Going back, Booker T. Washington, that was the whole purpose. Educate us so we can take care of ourselves. And when I say that, I'm talking about the whole entire community, okay? And so with that being said, that keeps the corporations away, but what we do want from there is advertisement money. And what I mean by that is, take any great casino. It's gonna always have to have commercial entities that have to advertise through us, all right? So we've got to first generate a magnet, so to speak, to bring outside resources back into our community, which is what we lost at Victoryland. And see, I worked at Victoryland before as a bartender part-time,
And I made it my business to never go in with money in my pocket. But every time I went home, I had money in my pocket. And what I'm getting at is, that's a large population of people that were coming in and out of our city, or in our county, excuse me, and that revenue is gone, it's dissipated. It ran over to Wind Creek. And going back again to when this whole process started with shutting us down, Wind Creek was half the size that it is now. And because that diversion or diverting that traffic that was coming from everywhere else to go to Victorland, it got sent there, and now they look a lot better, all right? So we've got to bring that back. But my point is, it's time to... All right.
Yeah, so I'm pissed off about it too. I don't like Alabama Power. They've raised my my power bill by almost $200 this year. And so Ms. Laura Lane, she pointed out a lot of good points earlier in how that she can come and try to fix these prices, help us bring them down, and I would be more than willing to work with her. She's a great lady, and I really trust her. You're welcome. Yeah, I don't think that the Alabama Power needs to be running amok in Alabama and needs to be the one monopoly that we have, and we need more options. And so I would try to work with people like Laura and the community and to empower people to break away from the strangleholds that the corporations and monopolies have in Alabama and give power back to the people, whether it's producing their own energy or whatnot. We need to step away from that and get back to community-based things like that. Thank you.
Thank you to both candidates. That was the final question for this segment. Now we're gonna move on to our last segment, which is for our two write-in candidates. Oh, I'm sorry, one write-in candidate. And this position is for County Commissioner District 2. You will have 3 minutes to introduce yourself, and then we will take questions.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. The first thing I want to tell you is when you go to the poll, write in Willie H. Boyd. Now, I'm going to tell you who I am. I'm a retired colonel, United States Army, aviator, spent time in Vietnam, 954 combat hours as a dust-off pilot, evacuating wounded soldiers from the battlefield. I know what facing death means. Macon County is almost facing the same type of death I faced in Vietnam and evacuating the wounded soldiers. Now, I graduated from Tuskegee Institute, 1966. Most of you probably were still in high school, wasn't born then. And the question is, why are you writing in to run for the County Commission District 2? Well, I'm running because I thought about it today and I decided to do it. This is a democracy in a free country and we can do what we want to do, and I am running now because the District 2 needs someone that's going to get action. Action is required and we have to move out and get people involved. The population in District 2 is decreasing, the real estate is expanding, and the people sitting back saying, Lord, we can't do nothing more. We can get involved. You have to activate the people that you have. That means I am retired. I'm not depending on anyone to fill my gas tank to go out to talk to anyone. But as an individual concerned about our community, concerned about the human beings, humanity, that we need to pull together to be able to make decisions and have a vision. And a vision has to be established and commit to the vision. And it requires energy. You cannot sit back and talk about it. You got to do something. So in my experience in the military, 28 years, and I can go through and you can go to the website and you dial in Colonel Willie H. Boyd, it'll give you my whole deal about all these accolades and stuff, say that I'm such a great guy. But I ain't talking about that now. I'm talking about what we're going to do for Macon County. And as a write-in candidate, you put me in there and then you come and check me out, because I believe measurable results is an indication of what you can do. If you can't quantify and measure your commitment, you just blowing gas. And we don't need that type of action. So when you go vote for write-in Willie H. Boyd, and you will get someone that will represent you, represent the people, and also thank God for giving me the ability to do so. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you. Now we'll have questions from the audience.
That's great. I remember the 3 B's. Be brief, be good, and be gone.
Actually, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Well, actually, it's not for it's for maybe the mayor. What's the deadline for me to move here so I can vote for him?
Actually, you'd have to move to District 2.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. And I think that we need to activate our people. They will do if you figure out how to do it. And you can't sit back and talk. You got to figure out a way to pull them to get action. Now, you can demonstrate and you can make them feel embarrassed. My whole deal is I'm a public servant. Really, I believe in volunteering for the community. And believe it or not, the AARP just elected me as the state of Alabama Honors Award for community service. Now, if you can take that and say, am I willing to work for the community? Take that and take it home with you, okay?
You're a fireball.
Thank you all for being your moderator. I'm going to hand it back over to you.
Yeah, that's his brother over there.
All right, you all stuck around to the end. This went a little bit longer than intended, but this was, I think, a very meaningful opportunity to have dialogue with the candidates who are running for office. So I want to first give all of you all a hand clap for your participation in being here and your investment in your democracy. And I also want to take take the opportunity to thank all of the candidates for coming out to Macon County and spending some time with us here as they prepare for Election Day. Thank you all so much. We'll have brief closing remarks by one of our partners, Mr. Bully from the local NAACP, and then I will bid you all good night. There are refreshments in the lobby, so please feel free to help yourself to chicken tenders, and fruit, and public tenders for those who like public water, snacks. But thank you all so much.
But you go to the restroom, I'm sure he'll stay here.
Thank you. I will not be long. I have a long speech, but most of the individuals have left. I would just like to say to the candidates, thank you for coming, again, to echo what has been said already. On behalf of the Tuskegee Macon County branch of the NAACP, the Young Individuals Council here in Macon County, to Ms. Harwood and Ms. Neal, you have put on a great show. This is a beginning for you, and I continue to wish you well in the future. I would also like to say to the New South Coalition, thank you for being a part of this, and the Tuskegee University Department of Health and, History and Political Science. But more so than that, I would like to leave everyone with a charge. The NAACP, as we most noted far, is the oldest civil rights organization in the country. We fight for civil rights. And whenever we talk on behalf of our national president, Derrick Johnson, our chairman, Chairman Russell, our state president, Mr. Barnard Simon, and also for the 84 plus members of this branch in Macon County. Our charge is to you and to everybody watching virtually. Voting is the most important thing in the world. It is your God-given right. We have fought for it ever since we stepped upon this land, these United States of America. We say to you and everyone else, registering to vote is not the end result. The end result is going to vote by any means possible. If you have to walk, ride a donkey, or whatever, don't depend on anyone else to get you there, get there yourself. And I tell the young people, as I speak, you're not my future. Might sound bad, but you're not my future. Because my future is in the past. I fought in the 60s with Medgar Evers in Jackson, Mississippi. I walked there. And I walked here in Tuskegee when Young died. And I was in Detroit in 67. Ladies and gentlemen, I tell the young people this. You're not my future, and you're not your future. Do not look beyond tomorrow, because your future is now. Your future is now. Liberty and freedom. That's what we're fighting for. And if you not lose your fight every day for it, do not look down the road, because your future will not be there. And I tell people, if you want to survive, if you want to be part of this great nation, and we're the greatest in the world, vote. Because when you vote, you have a seat at the table. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. I love you young people. And if anything you need, I will be here with you. Thank you.
Last thing I want to say, I want to thank my co-founder, Omari Neal, for all of her work too, and good night.
Hey, Frank, don't run off.
And thank our moderator, our brilliant, courageous, strong moderator. Thank you so much to our moderator.
I also wanted to thank my Sigma Alpha students for putting this on, and also Mrs. Calvin, the administrative assistant, for administrative.
You too, ma'am. Say hi to the sheriff for me, please. Oh, is he here?